We begin tonight with breaking news: a deadly car explosion at the Rainbow Bridge border crossing in Niagara Falls. The FBI briefing the media just a short time ago, saying this was not a terror attack.
Right now, we have no indications of a threat of terrorism from it. The investigation continues. We're still doing notifications for family members.
The blast happening near a checkpoint on the American side of the bridge. Good evening. I'm Karen Edwards in for Dawn. We go now straight to 13 WHAM's Carla Rogner live in Niagara Falls with the latest. Carla.
Yeah, hi Karen. We are on Niagara Street, which leads to Rainbow Bridge behind us here. You can still see there is a very heavy law enforcement out here on all the roads leading up to that bridge, but we are learning new details from the governor and federal authorities this afternoon. They called this afternoon's incident a tragic incident that left 2 people dead and said there was no evidence that it involved terrorism. Authorities say the car exploded at the Rainbow Bridge this afternoon, but it's still unclear what caused that explosion. The governor says the driver is from Western New York. The vehicle was seen on surveillance footage, stopped at an initial security checkpoint before speeding up and crashing into the second checkpoint. The governor said 1 employee was injured in the incident and couldn't comment on their condition. Federal authorities again emphasized tonight that no terrorism is involved, and they said people can, quote, go on with their lives.
The investigation continues, as the FBI SAC said. We will continue to investigate, but our preliminary assessment of the situation is it was not terrorism related, but we will continue to stay vigilant. People can lower their heightened sensitivities to this, knowing that we do not believe this was a terrorist event.
This is one of the busiest travel holidays of the year. Of course, there's been a huge impact to travel this evening. The Rainbow Bridge is still closed, and there is no timeline for when it could reopen. The governor says it will need to be checked to see if it is still structurally intact or if there's any impact there. All other 3 bridges, however, from Western New York leading into Canada have reopened. Live in Niagara Falls, Carla Rogner, 13 WHAM News.
Carla, thank you. Governor Kathy Hochul also addressing the media a short time ago, sharing again the Whirlpool and Peace Bridge border crossings have now reopened. The governor also saying despite earlier reports, the Buffalo airport was never closed.
They brought experts. They're still analyzing this, but there's been no indication based on any online threats, anyone taking credit for anything, all the usual areas you look to identify whether or not there's a group involved. At this time, you hear me say this at this time, a dozen times, because it is still unfolding.
Again, so no evidence of terrorism. A witness who works as a tour guide in Niagara Falls also explaining what he saw.
I closed the door to my car, and about 30 feet from me, I seen something airborne. I first thought it was an airplane. It looked like slow motion. And I said, my God, it's a car. And it's a vehicle, and it's flying through the air. He hit the concrete barrier probably right at the signal, God knows how many thousands of feet before the bridge. It went airborne. The vehicle began to turn sideways and went under something overhead, and then it hit something over there.
The Monroe County Sheriff's Office releasing a statement that security at Frederick Douglass International will be increased just out of an abundance of caution. The airport remains operational. The Sheriff's Office saying there's no intelligence to believe there's a local threat at this time either. Again, investigators saying at least 1 person has died. We will continue to bring you the latest on this breaking news story on air and on 13wham.com.